Hey guys. Hey guys, vlog in a car. How are you? So it's been a while since I've done one of these. So this is Sunday afternoon. I just wanted to wrap up a few loose ends over the week. I've gotten a ton of questions shot at me via email and YouTube comments and Instagram. So I'm going to do my best over the next several days to answer them. At some point by spring, I would imagine, I think I'm going to set up more of a podcast type of situation where I'm going to discuss a few things. I'm going to be answering questions, so I'll probably list out all my questions and might take me half an hour to answer questions. And I will also discuss recent technology changes, and I'll give you my perspective going with my 2 decades plus experience as a developer. I'll give you my perspective in terms of what I see in each of these technologies and whether it's something to pursue or something to consider. Although if you've been watching my vlogs, you understand my general perspective is to, keep your eyes open, but not to jump down every rabbit hole, every new tech that comes along. But also I'm going to start really twisting this into, not twisting, but I'm going to really start looking at this from the point of view of business. That to me is the key to all this. I started writing code in 1994, not to become a coder, but because I wanted to build a site for my business, which had nothing to do with technology. And I still look at code as a tool. I look at code as a tool for business owners to be able to get stuff done. It could be to build an app, build a website. It could be to automate processes. And even back then, it was such an important tool to me, and I owe so much to coding. Today, it's even more pronounced. If you want to become an entrepreneur, you want to start a business, or you have a small business, understanding code is such an important tool set today. I think it should be taught in any business course so that the business decision makers will at least have an idea of what's going on in terms of the coding world, so they can make more intelligent decisions about what type of software related tools they'll implement, whether they roll out their own or whether they hire certain people, how they can be able to talk to developers more intelligently, be able to judge their skill sets much more effectively, to be able to judge the cost of projects much more accurately if you have a bit of a background in coding. So from an entrepreneurial perspective, I suggest every entrepreneur learn at least a little bit of code, and that would be primarily the web stack, HTML, touch of CSS, and a little bit of programming, specifically so they understand server-side programming. Again, not to become an expert, but just so you understand it and grasp the basic concepts. This will save any business owner, any entrepreneur, a lot of money, a lot of headaches, and it will allow you to make a lot better business decisions. Of course, a lot of you listening to this blog now, you're probably looking to become a professional developer, whether you want to get a job, you want to be a freelancer, or maybe you want to start your own business. So this may not apply perfectly, but it's still, I think there's a lot of people out there still interested in business in general. So think of programming as a tool set in your toolbox. It's a key one. So you got your coding tool set. As an entrepreneur, also you should have your communications tool set, whether it be writing well or speaking well. That's such an important skill to have no matter what you do. And I've talked about this in other vlogs. Anyway, I think that's pretty much it. This is a little bit of a rambling here. So again, to recap, I'm going to be looking to answer questions put to me, I think, in a long format, meaning a podcast. I will probably release the podcast both on YouTube, but also in MP3 format. So it's something you can get on iTunes. People have asked this of me many a times. And I used to do podcasts way back in the day, but I think I'm going to start implementing that again in the spring. Right now, it's a little busy with work with Studio Web and the schools and so forth. I'm working hard. We're working to get Studio Web 4 out the door. I'm not writing the code for Studio Web 4, and my programmer is doing that, but it's I have to go in there and like once I get off with you guys Sunday afternoon, I'm going in to the beta and I'm going to start going through it and tearing it apart, pointing out what needs to be fixed and adjusted. We're very close. That's the thing about software development. It's that last 5% of it takes up so much time. And unfortunately for me, or fortunately for me, I have to be the one to go in there and start correcting and refining things, and so that people know what to do in terms of what has to be fixed before it's ready for production. But I have to say, though, after many months of working on this new Studio Web, which was a rewrite from scratch, I'm excited to get it out the door because it provides a whole bunch of new functionality and refinements that I've been chomping at the bit to get going. Anyhow, that's it for the vlog. Bye-bye. Oh, one last thing for those of you who might be interested. So I'm now in, I guess, the middle of a 24-hour fast. I started last night, but I broke down and I binged 8 Ritz crackers, which is kind of silly for me because all those carbs are just terrible for you. Blood sugar level spikes, causes all kinds of problems, and I'm lactose intolerant, so the cheese doesn't go over well too much. Although the effects haven't been too bad today. Anyhow, that's what it is. I used to be highly critical of people who are alcoholics or drug addicts because I don't drink, I don't do drugs, I have no inclination towards these things, and it's just crazy to get involved in that kind of stuff. If you don't know if you're an addict or not, don't even tempt it. It's not worth it. And so I used to be highly critical because I know some people who are alcoholics, but I realized something years ago that I shouldn't be so critical because I was fortunate enough to not be addicted to those substances, alcohol and hard drugs. What I am addicted to, what I have a proclivity, is cheese and salty foods. I got a box of Ritz yesterday, cheesy crackers, and I rarely eat these things, and I just ate the whole box. I couldn't stop myself. And fortunately, that's my addiction. So what I typically do to avoid, I just don't have this stuff in the house. I just keep it out of the house. And anyway, so I ate that box of Ritz yesterday. And so as a result, I'm fasting. I decided, that was last night, so I'm fasting. I didn't have breakfast, just a coffee. And then I'm just going to eat maybe later tonight. So 24-hour fast, drink a lot of water, flush the body. Let me tell you, at first time you do the fasting, it's jarring because what's going to happen, you're going to get the cold turkey reactions from your body. Your body is going to literally react like it's coming off of a hard drug. Trust me, it's the weirdest thing. And you're going to have anxiety, you're going to have itches, you're going to have nausea, spots of nausea, you're going to have headaches, all these things that, like John Lennon did the song called Cold Turkey. All these things that, I remember the first time I fasted, I had that reaction. I had that cold turkey reaction. It was fascinating. I was like, wow. It's just like coming off of drugs. Not that I've ever done that, but it's just like they describe in the songs. And I realized it was all the sugar and the glucose and from the breads and there's the Coca-Colas and the soft drinks and so on. And what happens is once you go through that cold turkey, it could take 24 hours, 48 hours, depending on you. Then all of a sudden, like a light switch, like all of a sudden all those anxiety feelings, the headaches, the nausea, all that crappy, it just goes away. It's just like somebody literally goes, doop, and all of a sudden your craving for that kind of food goes to zero. It's unbelievable. After you've fasted several times, your body kind of gets used to it. So I don't get all those cold turkey feelings anymore, even though like I had like a box of Ritz yesterday. I've been, I haven't had anything to eat since last night. It's the afternoon now, and I'm not going to eat until tonight. And I'm going to cut out all carbs. Oof. I'm going to try to come out for another 2 days, I hope. And let me tell you, once you get used to doing these intermittent fasts, and again, you should consult your doctor, all this kind of stuff. I don't know what your medical condition is, blah, blah, blah. I'm saying this for legal reasons, I don't know. I suggest exploring it. Nothing has been better for me in terms of my health. Now, about 7 years ago, I guess it is now, or longer, I decided I need to lose some weight. I was 25 pounds overweight. And so that's what I started doing. I started doing two things. Intermittent fasting. I started slowly cutting down my portions. So if you're eating 4 slices of pizza, cut it down to 3, then 2, then 1, then 0. I started moving off of carbs and sugar-based, glucose-based foods, potatoes. Glycemic index is something to look at. It's a good indicator. Moving off foods with a high sugar content, if you will, high glycemic index. And I'm being rough with my terminology. And then you want to get into foods that don't have any, they don't contribute in any way to your sugar levels in your blood. That's meat and vegetables. And doing that, I just feel better and better and better and better. In fact, after a good 24-hour fast or so, your cognitive capacity, your ability to think actually goes up, believe it or not. I don't know why, but it just happens. And I've talked to a good friend of mine, same thing. Now, he was diabetes. He had diabetes, type 2 diabetes, and he was 60 pounds overweight, and he was on insulin and all this kind of junk. So he said, okay, that's it. So he went on a hard diet, got rid of all the glucose, all the sugars, went to meat and vegetables, and he lost 60 pounds in a year, and his diabetes is gone. It took about 9 months, a year, but his diabetes disappeared. And all he did was what I'm talking about here. Something to consider. Anyway, off on a tangent. But without a healthy body, you can't have a healthy mind. Well, it's much harder to think. It's much harder to operate. If you're in pain, you're sore, you're feeling anxious, harder to think clearly. If it's harder to think clearly, it's harder to code clearly. It's harder to build a business, harder to come up with ideas. And if you're overweight, you're unhealthy, you're 18, you're 20, you're 30, you're not going to feel it. But let me tell you, I know from people I know, it comes to get you. It comes to get you hard in your 40s. Now, what you put into your body and how you treat your body when you're younger is it's like putting money in the bank. There's a return on investment with healthy eating and healthy habits. And if you do anything, just cut out the sugars and the breads, eat less, drink more water, just in moderate exercise. That's another thing. I'll leave it with this. Another thing I discovered, I used to be a hardcore martial artist, tons of training, and the roughest type of training ever, to the point where I broke my nose 3 times in the ring. What I discovered is that being mentally calm when you do your workout has tremendous impact, because what you want to do is you want to have a calm, relaxed disposition when you're training, if you will, and it's gonna help with how your body releases certain chemicals, which is going to help with the way your body reacts to the training. Essentially, moderate, calm training is going to do much better for your health than hardcore, heavy-duty, fight or flight type of training. Your psychological state has a tremendous impact in terms of how your body will react to the physical exercise that you exert. If you can do calm training, relaxed training, moderate training, you're going to have a much better result. I can tell you that from personal experience. All right. Not coding related, but very important. If you're healthy, you're going to be happier, and you're going to do better. You're going to be able to think better. And that's important in business and in your work life, besides your personal life. All right, ciao.